Hello guys, and welcome back to a new video from me, Private Hire Mike. Hopefully everybody has been doing marvelously well. And in today's video guys, I am going to be talking about the working from home model, the hybrid working which has been affecting us as drivers, okay? So after COVID and during COVID, people adopted the working from home model, right? The WFH. And this has significantly impacted us as drivers because it means that less and less passengers are taking Ubers, private hires and taxis, okay? But I'm going to focus mainly on private hires because that's what this channel is about. So ultimately, we're seeing a decline in people using our services, and this only makes sense because let's think about it. If people are working from home, they aren't necessarily going to be using the service because they'll wake up and they'll literally have their laptop beside them and they'll get to work. So that means that the whole rush hour commute is not as strong as it used to be. Yes, it is still there because there are some people that still need to use private hires, taxis to get to work, but your so-called office workers tend not to rely on that anymore, which means that there is less people using the service, which means that there is less demand and less money. Now, the way to work around this is to consider that we still have people who use private hires and taxis for the school run. So we have the school runs that starts from around, say, 7 o'clock till 9. And we also have the airport. So the airport runs typically start from around 3 in the morning and maybe go up till about 9 o'clock. Okay, but most people want to book a taxi for an airport run from, say, 3 o'clock onwards. Okay, now that means that you have to adjust your schedule and how you work ultimately because people have changed their routines. So that means as a driver, you need to. So you kind of need to say to yourself now, okay, we're not necessarily going to get that rush hour commute on certain days. So therefore, I'm probably going to start my job Monday to Friday, maybe start doing airport runs or school runs. Now, if you're doing Uber and you're relying on school runs and airport runs, then that's probably not the best company. If my best recommendation, really, if you want to get school runs, is to maybe approach schools in your area and ask them if they need drivers and if it's something that you could offer through an operator, for example. So if you're signed up to an office, you could maybe speak to your office and say, hey, look, I've spoken to this school. They're happy for me to fulfill a school run. Can I book it through your company? Because obviously all bookings have to go through a licensed TfL operator. You can't just go to a school yourself and say, hey, look, I've got a car, I can do school runs. No, it has to go through an operator. So that is something that you can consider. That is something that you can bear in mind. With the airports as well, again, a lot of the airport work is usually covered by operators, mainly due to the fact that people don't tend to rely on Uber for airport runs because if they want to get to the airport, they usually have to catch a flight at a specific time, which would therefore mean that they do not want to be gambling with a Uber driver who might cancel on them, okay? So now that this new working from home model is there is still those airport runs, but not as much, of course, because people aren't traveling away for business. So therefore, I would really say to secure work during the weekdays and working from home days, which are typically Mondays and Fridays for a lot of people, is to consider getting yourself a school run. And maybe the operator that you work for has school runs. And if they don't, maybe you could approach schools in your area and have a speak with them. Now, going on to the evening times, okay? During the evening times, again, there is less demand from people due to the working from home model. And of course, that is going to be due to the fact that if people are at home, they're probably going to stay at home. They're not likely to go out in the evening. They'll probably have an Uber Eats maybe watch a bit of Netflix, and then prepare themselves for the next day. Where it does get busy, I've noticed from this new working from home model, is on Thursdays, because Thursdays now are considered the last day of the week, because typically, again, a lot of people don't work on the Friday. So you'll find that there is a lot of work on a Thursday, especially in town around London, the city of London, those areas. So that's another thing to consider. But when you think about how it used to be, Fridays was definitely the day where it was very busy. And because people were working in the office, they would be more encouraged, for example, to go to pubs, go to restaurants, maybe go to cinemas. But I feel like the working from home model really fosters the idea of just staying indoors, really, and maybe just using an Uber perhaps to get shopping, or maybe visiting a friend, let's just say. Now, working from home has those effects, and I have told you a bit about what you can do to make sure that you avoid the stale times, because typically now, between, let's say, the weekdays, especially days on which people work from home, it's very quiet from around 9 o'clock in the morning up till about 2:33 when the schools start. Okay, so you've got a massive space of time where there's not much work. So that's why I do recommend that you try to find yourself let me just adjust my microphone slightly, why you perhaps might want to secure yourself a school run or a airport run, let's just say. Okay, now going on to the weekends now. All right, the weekends, again, I need to adjust my microphone. Apologies about this, guys. I need to get another microphone arm because this one is a bit annoying. Hopefully you can still hear me. Yes, so the weekends typically now are the same, maybe if not busier than what the weekends used to be, because now that people work from home, the weekends, they really want to go out and enjoy themselves, which is why typically now Saturdays are quite busy, and also Sundays. And a lot of drivers decide to make the bulk of their money during the weekend. But if you have a car that you're renting and you've got a lot of expenses, you do definitely need to secure work during those weekdays. And that's why I would recommend to really try to, again, source your own work. You know, speak in communities. Maybe your local church needs drivers, maybe your school. Speak to, you know, if you've got children, that's a great opportunity to go into the school and be like, hey, look, I'm an Uber driver, or I'm a licensed private hire driver. I'd be more than happy to fulfill a school run. I can do it through an office. They would be happy for the work because obviously they get the commission. Okay. So anyway, guys, that is all I am going to cover in this video today, this video podcast. So before I was just doing the podcast without me, but now I'm starting to put my face on camera. Okay. And if you've enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I will be doing more videos like this. And like the video and share it, because that helps me out on the old YouTube algorithm. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this podcast, and I will see you in another video. Have a great day, guys, and be safe on those roads, and I'll see you again.